Okay, I'm going to be getting into something here that's basically the basis for praying without ceasing. In 1 Thessalonians 5:17, we're commanded to pray without ceasing. Now, I have tried different ways to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about how there's kind of a ditch on both sides of the road. Years ago, when I would try to pray without ceasing, I tried more of a legalistic approach. And so I remember even going so far as to putting a rock in my shoe, and if I stepped on the rock, it'd remind me to pray without ceasing. I know that sounds crazy, but I was just really zealous to try to obey the Lord. That type of approach is oftentimes what we start off with. And then we realize, we don't want to be so legalistic and so trying to do things in the flesh, so we slip to the other side, and the ditch on that side would be the kind of like the liberal approach. And we're just free. We're just free, and we take the wrong perspective on freedom. I don't want to give you the liberal approach or the legalistic approach to praying without ceasing. I'm going to give you a scriptural approach. And what I'm going to get into is a series on tabernacle pathways to prayer. And so as you go through, we're going to go through the tabernacle. We're going to explain just a little bit. We're not going to dig deep into the tabernacle as far as what it represents. But when you think about these passages in the Old Testament, like Exodus and Numbers, Leviticus, and they're going through this tent and all these things, so what was all this for? Well, the Lord said why he created the tabernacle. He said, I want to have a house so that I can dwell with my people. And that's never been a thing that's changed. God still wants to dwell with his people. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to kind of encourage you. This is kind of going along with a heart cry I had years ago. And it was after I read a little book by a guy named Brother Lawrence called The Practice of the Presence of God. And it was about a monk who worked in a monastery, a kitchen actually, and I believe he was a born-again Christian. What happened was he had learned it's really a skill to pray continually all the time. And his time of just working in that kitchen were no different than his times alone with God. He was constantly in an attitude and a spirit of prayer. And so as we go through this series on tabernacle pathways, which is really a practical path to renewing your walk with God, I'm going to just show you how practical this can be. And I'm going to just leave you with this before I get into this series. The other day I was going to town. I had about a 15-minute drive. And I started going through just two of the things in the tabernacle. Specifically, I started meditating on the heart of the brazen altar. And then I went into just meditating a little bit on the heart of the laver, which is that bowl we'll look at. And just those two pieces of furniture that sat outside of the tabernacle, the whole time I'm driving, I was in prayer, just thinking about these things. And so whether you're on your way driving to work, or you're just in the middle of something that doesn't require a lot of focus or a lot of mental, intensity, this is just a very practical way for you to apply 1 Thessalonians 5:17 to pray without ceasing. And so we'll look at the tabernacle pathways, and I trust it'll be a great encouragement to all of us. And if you apply this, I guarantee you will experience an incredible transformation in your prayer life. And I trust God will use it. So let's get into this together, and that's the introduction for Tabernacle Pathways.